Well, this got really interesting. So, as of the other day, if you guys didn't hear, Max is going to be called HBO Max. Warner Brothers is restructuring. They're attempting to, I guess, part ways with Discovery, even though like they merged not too long ago. But they're also looking to restructure Warner Brother Games. If you guys didn't know, Warner Brother Games has some massive franchises tagged to it, such as the Batman Arkham series, Mortal Kombat, and of course Hogwarts Legacy potential sequel. So we're going to talk about this today because now Sony's talking about potentially acquiring them. This is going to get interesting, guys. So looking at this was an article. Well, it's not really an article. This is a video, but I read an article the other day talking about how Warner Brother Games is restructuring, right? And they're going to split their game division into two. And by that, I mean they're going to have one game division that's strictly for Mortal Kombat and DC comic games, and the other division is going to be for Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. Now, mind you, I can't really think of any Game of Thrones games. I can just think of like some really, really crappy ones. But here is the big rumor right here. PlayStation could be interested in acquiring Warner Brothers gaming franchises. And that's going to be, I only say it's interesting due to the fact that Sony outright owns Spider-Man, basically. Like Marvel screwed the pooch on that one. Basically sold the licensing and the rights to Sony back in the 90s like for pennies on the dollar. So that's why all the Spider-Man games are PlayStation exclusive, which we could potentially see the Batman Arkham games become PlayStation exclusives. We could potentially see Mortal Kombat games becoming PlayStation exclusives. Anyways, let's get into this. The meat and potatoes here. Stop it, Wade. PlayStation might be looking to acquire Warner Brother video game franchises like Mortal Kombat, DC, and Harry Potter. I like how they didn't throw Game of Thrones on there. Anyways, Sony's gaming division already has an impressive portfolio of franchises under its belt with God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon, and Marvel's Spider-Man, among many others from the PlayStation brand. Meanwhile, Warner Brother Games has been undergoing some serious corporate upheaval this year, fueled in part by majority titles like Suicide Squad, Kills the Justice League. That right there was a massive blow to Warner Brother Games. Genuinely, I feel a lot of these corporate companies that make video games need to get back to the basics. Not just Warner Brother Games. I'm talking Sony. I'm talking Nintendo, which, by the way, I am still working on my review of Mario Kart World because I spent $500 to play it. I had to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 to play it. It's crazy. Anyways, and then Warner Brother Games also canned projects like Monolith's Wonder Woman being outright canceled. I think they should have continued with that. I think if it's anything like the Arkham games, it would have been awesome. Earlier this week, Warner Brother Games announced that it would be divvying up its IPs among two different leaders, with NetherRealm Studios' Sean Hemrick being promoted to Senior VP of future Mortal Kombat and DC games, with former Bethesda head in charge of Warner Brother Games Montreal, and new titles based off of Game of Thrones and Harry Potter. Like I said, I don't know how they're going to do with the Game of Thrones because I can only think of one Game of Thrones game and it really wasn't that good. But at the same token, Warner Brothers didn't make it. This coincides with the larger Warner Brothers Discovery announcing its own split into two smaller companies. And it seems that Sony might be looking to capitalize by purchasing one of them. According to sources in contact with the SES Scoop, Sony is reportedly looking into acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery Streaming and Studios, which will consist of Warner Brothers films and television libraries, as well as Warner Brothers major franchises. This isn't verified by any official sources, so this is all hearsay, and it isn't clear if such purchases would be successful, even if Sony is looking to pick up Warner Brothers assets. It's going to be interesting to see if they do. Sony does end up picking up the catalog, just the streaming catalog, and the rights to the Warner Brothers Discovery, because then basically, from my understanding, Sony would own HBO then. That'd be crazy. As mentioned before, Warner Brothers Game is at crossroads in the wake of its parent company restructuring. A couple months ago, we actually had articles talking about Warner Brothers Games thinking about selling off parts of their game franchises, whether it's Batman, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat was on the chopping block, but they didn't actually pull the trigger on that. Instead, they've decided that they're looking to find a suitor to potentially sell it from the sounds of it. A sequel to the 2023 Harry Potter title Hogwarts Legacy is believed to be in development, and rumors has it that NetherRealms has already started working on its next big fighting game, whether it's the long-awaited Injustice 3. I mean, they were working on potentially like making, this newest Mortal Kombat a much longer, like more of a live service game, and they ended up basically sunsetting it. Speaking of DC, there's also rumors that Rocksteady is now developing a new Batman game, though it's unclear if it's another Arkham sequel or a franchise reboot. I think they're better off just rebooting, go back to your basics instead of continuing where you're at, and building a live service game, which companies just got to get away from doing live service games. And on top of that, they really need to get away from all these remasters and remakes. All of these projects could be developed under the PlayStation banner if Sony is indeed looking to purchase Warner Brothers gaming library, though it is still way too early to tell what effect a buyout would have. I would tell you, it would be interesting to see Sony actually doing a buyout here, because Sony right now is kind of in hot water. They obviously a publicly traded company. They're in hot water with basically shutting down all these live service games, buying a game company that was producing Concord, and then Concord failing. They turn around, they buy Bungie, and then Marathon is a bunch of thieves. I'm not calling the developing team, probably not so much, but they borrowed ideas and they didn't give people credit, not just ideas, but freaking art. All the art for the game. Sony's immediate rival Microsoft has been adding a new new publishers and franchises to its Xbox brand over the past few years, and a purchase of proven commodities like Mortal Kombat or the Batman Arkham series could be a strong way for PlayStation to catch up. You're not catching up. Mortal Kombat and Batman Arkham are not like franchises that are completely on the same level as Batman. And as Call of Duty, shall we say, or World of Warcraft, or any of those other games. Like there's a lot there's a lot of ground they got to catch up in order to catch up to Microsoft, and that's not happening anytime soon. Let's go full screen. Now, my thoughts on potentially Sony acquiring them. Hopefully, if they go the route that Sony's good for, which is single-player, story-driven games, by all means, do it. Make great games. But the route that they have been going is definitely not one where I see Mortal Kombat or Batman really making a real big splash, because they're going to want live service. Obviously, Suicide Squad killing Justice League did not do well. Obviously, a lot of the stuff that Warner Brothers Entertainment, like, go back. You got the Nemesis system with them. You got all kinds of stuff that you can do. Make something great. Don't let it fall to the wayside if Sony ends up buying them. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. It really does make me think, are they going to do big things, or are they not going to do big things? Anyways, until next time, y'all take it easy. Have a great, wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!